Scanner Sombre is a game with a unique visual aesthetic and innovative gameplay design. It attempts to complement this innovation with an emotionally charged storyline and functional, enjoyable gameplay, but fails to deliver either. The result is ultimately a disappointing gameplay experience. The game's standout feature has to be the way it displays levels and visual elements to the player. It really is a thing of beauty, and I can't compliment it enough. Thrust into the pitch-black darkness, you're armed with a powerful scanning device, which, through some kind of sci-fi wizardry, slowly scans and builds up a picture of your surrounding environment. The scanner doesn't just display the surroundings to the player, it puts the act of exploration directly into the player's hands. It's both beautiful in its simplicity, but powerful in its ability to engage. You can uncover the secrets of any room you're in by slowly analysing each surface, building up a more defined picture of that which surrounds you. It's an excellent concept, and serves as a useful tool in gameplay and as a means of furthering the story. The mystery of the caverns slowly unravels around you with every scan you take, and at the same time the scanner allows you to see platforming hazards, gaps that lead to great chasms below. I love this idea, and my only wish is that they could have taken the concept further. Unfortunately, that's about as far as my admiration for this game goes. Every other aspect, the gameplay, the controls, the performance, the story, they all seem to be trying to drag the title down into the depths it itself depicts. Let's start with the length of the game. It's only an hour long. This is too short, plain and simple. You could probably extend the game out with multiple replays or by meticulously scanning every room you enter, but there's really not much more fun to be had by way of these options, and you'll probably only be playing through the game once or twice tops. Secondly, the story unfortunately seems to go nowhere. More than that though, it seems to be confused about what kind of a story it wants to tell. It starts off by offering intrigue, rumours of an underground cult, human sacrifices and witch trials, all under this air of mysterious tension. Then, as quickly as these mysteries are brought up, they disappear into the ether, and you're inspected just to enjoy the visuals. As beautiful as these visuals are, they are made less interesting without the addition of these mysterious story elements. Towards the end, the game turns into a sort of moral lesson on the importance of family. There is a kind of twist at the end, which I won't ruin, that seems to tie back into the horror themes mentioned earlier in the game, but this twist ultimately falls flat because none of these individual ideas and themes are fleshed out in a way that leaves you with any concrete understanding. As soon as you become interested or immersed in any one particular concept, the game shifts into another gear and leaves all your questions unanswered. Coupled with the game's short runtime, the story left me reeling in disappointment. The gameplay and controls start off strong, with the scanner's unique addition having surprisingly innovative implications. As the game goes on, however, you begin to see the oversights made when it comes to the controls in particular. First of all, to use the scanner you need to hold mouse 1. There's rarely a point in the game where you'll want to have the scanner turned off, so essentially the game turns into hold mouse 1 simulator for its 1 hour runtime. The burst ability, which is a more powerful area of effect scanned on a cooldown, is mapped to the B button, and cannot be remapped. There are literally 14 other keys I would rather press on a keyboard before I have to press the B button, and yet you can't change which buttons are mapped to where. This may seem like I'm nitpicking, but to me it really represents the lack of proper consideration when it comes to creating controls. Case in point, there's an aperture control on your scanner which you pick up early in the game, a tool that lets you widen or focus the scanner's sensor. You do this by scrolling the mouse wheel up and down. A focus sensor lets you build up a more detailed picture of a smaller area, whereas a wider aperture lets you get a broader picture of your surroundings, but without as much detail. This is a much more interesting way to use the scanner, but because you're constantly holding mouse 1 to have the scanner on, using the aperture control becomes an awkward process of crowding your middle finger onto the scroll wheel while continuously holding mouse 1 with your index finger. The most frustrating thing about all of this is that it could have easily been remedied with even the smallest amount of thought and effort. Change the scanner into an on-off toggle rather than hold, and make the burst function remappable. As a result, you could free up the player's fingers to focus on the more interesting aperture control mechanic. Alas, that minuscule amount of consideration is not offered to us, and instead we're given clunky controls and thus clunky gameplay. The performance is another sore point when it comes to Scanner Sombre. When you're given such a short experience which relies so heavily on wowing the player with stunning visuals, you better make sure those visuals perform well. In those important moments when the music kicks off and the caverns open up to reveal what should be a wonderland of colour and intrigue, often what I experienced instead was FPS drops and stutters, which really did have a massively negative effect on the adventure. Sombre gets a 5 out of 10 from me. It's short, its story isn't fleshed out, the gameplay and controls are unintuitive, and its graphical performance is mediocre at best. Its one redeeming feature are those stunning visuals created through the innovative scanner mechanic, and as beautiful as they may be, they cannot save the game as a whole. If you're the kind of person who loves indie titles with an inventive approach to gameplay, then this game might be worth a look. But for all others, you might want to avoid this one until the price goes down. Bryce out.